What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going? It's Dan here from Cryonoir. So it's been quite a while since I last did one of these retro collecting videos where I went over what I have in my collection. I was quite surprised when I last looked over the one I'd done for the Megadrive, because the collection has pretty much doubled since then. And same with a lot of other consoles. And I've also got some new consoles that I didn't have in those videos. So I thought I would just go through just the Megadrive one for this video, and then I will show you some of the new games I picked up for that, and then I might go back over some of the other consoles and some of the newer consoles I picked up, or should I say some of the rarer ones, because none of it's new. During this video, if there's sort of certain games that you think, you're surprised I don't have, such as Sonic 1 and 2 and Streets of Rage 1 and 2 and a lot of others there in the other video. So this is stuff I picked up since then. So I'll do the same thing I did last time. I'll go from the drossy kind of ropey titles right the way through to the better ones towards the end. Okay, so let's crack on. I will just rattle through some of the cheaper, sort of more dodgier titles, shall we say, just to get them through and out of the way. So we have PGA Tour Golf 2, which is obviously a classic golf game. I'm quite a fan of golf games. I don't have any issue with them, so that's probably quite good. Joe Montana's Sports Talk Football 93. It's a vintage year. EA Hockey, which is really quite good, actually. It's a good hockey game. I quite like hockeys. I was a big fan of NHL 94 on the PS1, and I'll probably like that as well. John Madden 92. Now, I already have John Madden 93, but this is John Madden 92. Olympic Gold. Now, I gave Rob some grief about that. On numerous occasions, and so it was only right that I got it as well. Brian Lara's Cricket game. I have reason to believe Brian Lara was quite a successful cricketer. Pele, who was apparently a big deal in football. I have heard of Pele, but he played football and made a video game. Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker. Now, I have heard of Jimmy White, and I have heard of this game as well. Apparently, this one has quite a few issues on the kind of 3-in-1 and sort of 5-in-1 kind of retro emulatory type consoles. I know the Nostalgia Nerd often refers to it and uses it as a baseline as to whether or not it'll work in those. And I don't know why, but maybe it's something to do with sort of how niche it is within the PAL area or something. I don't know. Now we're just into sort of generic titles that kind of I have and that I like as well. A lot of them I sort of already know. Some of them I don't, but these are the ones that I've picked up. GUNSHIP, which is a helicopter flight game. It looks to be kind of, in some shots it appears to be sort of a side-scrolling one, in some shots it appears to be an on-board one. I've not had a chance to have a launch of this, but this is by far and away the most pristine example I have of any game whatsoever from any era. I swear that manual has never been opened other than by me, almost, and the cartridge is mint, and it even has the card for registering it. So it was quite a find. And it was dirt cheap as well. I didn't pay much for it. Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego. Now these are kind of educational kind of puzzly type games where I believe you have to go to various time periods, solve puzzles and get answers that are related to that time period, and then you move on to the next one. And yeah, I don't really know much about this. I played this back in '95 when I was on holiday, and I played it for about 25 minutes, half an hour, and that's about the limit of what I know about that one. I think there's a TV series as well. Batman Forever. Now this is apparently terrible, which looking at the screenshots, I have a reason to believe. The film wasn't. The film was amazing. I don't care what anyone else says. Some of Val Kilmer's finest work. X-Men. Again, I don't know. This seems to be based off the Saturday morning cartoon. I have no idea whether it's any good or not. It seems to be just a generic platformer. Toe Jam and Earl, Panic on Funkatron. Now, I rented this game many, many moons ago, back in '93, and I really enjoyed this. It's like a weird kind of a platformy type thing where you run around a surreal weird mental landscape, throwing jars to collect stray humans. It's very odd. Tailspin, which is I don't know, it appears to be some sort of weird platformer. Now, this is the only game in my collection for the Sega Megadrive, or Genesis NES, where I don't have a manual for it. It sounds manual. So I need to track down a manual for this, but I think when I do find it, it will be dirt cheap. It's only going to be a couple of quid, but it's proving quite elusive. M1 Abrams battle tank, a classic piece of American firepower. It seems to be a tank game. I don't know. Again, this one's in really good condition. It seems to be sort of a lot of the low end titles seem to be in really good condition. Presumably they were stuck on warehouse shelves and never actually purchased. Pugsy, I have no idea about this. Seems to be a platformer. It's about as much as I know. I don't know anything else other than it's a platformer of some sorts. Quite like the art style. This one I do know about. Micro Machines. Dear God, did I put in some hours in this. I still need there's like a military edition and there's tournament edition, and there's quite a few micro machine games. There's quite a few micro machine games on the Sega Mega Drive. This was the first one, and yeah, I put in an awful lot of hours both on the Mega Drive version and the Amiga version, and just everyone played micro machines. It was amazing. G-Lock, which is a kind of flying game. It looks like a bit of a rip-off of Afterburner, only it also seems to have a cockpit view as well. Again, I've not played this one yet, but it looks pretty good. I know it sounds like I'm doing everything from memory here. Like, I don't have anywhere to set up the Mega Drive. I have a Sega Mega Drive. I have a CRT telly. When we move to the next house, I can get everything all set up, and I've got vast amounts of games to play for, like these old consoles. So I'm currently just in a hoarding phase, not in a playing phase. Zool, I don't know how I feel about Zool. You know, I did play it on the Amiga. It was okay. I'm going to have to see. I'm hoping the Mega Drive version is better, but I don't think it will be. Yeah, it just seems like it's a bit too fast for its own good, and, you know, it's full of that 90s tude. So, you know, it's all. Dragon's Fury, which is a pinball game. I'm not sure what that has to do with dragons. Yeah, you would never guess in a million years that was a pinball game. It does have a ball in there, but, I mean, that could just be like, you know, sort of a seeing ball. What do they call crystal ball? Another World, which is classic Amiga again. This was an Amiga conversion, and yeah, this is pretty special. Yeah, rotoscoping. Anyone that knows this cyberpunk futuristic adventure game, it's unbelievably good. Really good. Powermonger, which is a Peter Molyneux bullfrog kind of game, a bit like Populous and Civilization, only earlier, where you control, you know, cities and towns and build up armies and all that kind of stuff. Corporation, I didn't know. I thought this was very similar to Powermonger, but looking at the actual back shots, it appears to be something, and it says it's like an RPG, so I'm quite intrigued by that one. Another Amiga port, Lotus Turbo Challenge. I think this is just the original one. That's a really good game. Very good game. I put a lot of hours into the Amiga version of that as well, so I'm quite looking forward to checking out the Mega Drive version. The real Lotus challenge would be to actually get to the end of the stage before your Esprit burst into flames. And yet more Amiga ports. We have Desert Strike and Jungle Strike and Urban Strike. So I've got all three of the Strike games for the system, all progressively getting better. Although, I mean, I mostly played Desert Strike. I haven't really played any of the others, but I've been told that they do get better. And I used to love Desert Strike. I used to play that one a lot. Shinobi and Shadow Dancer. Now, obviously, everyone knows The Revenge of Shinobi. That was one of the big games. And Shadow Dancer is related to that in some tangential way, but I'm not entirely sure. It was some... You play as a ninja, and in that one you have a dog. You have a dog that comes with you, and you kill stuff with it. I think it was... I don't know if it was supposed to be part of the Shinobi series, and then it span off and did something else. I don't know. I believe them to be related, but I don't know. But yeah, so Shinobi and Shadow Dancer. Eternal Champions, which was it was kind of Sega's answer to Street Fighter 2, and was by nowhere near anywhere, not even remotely as good. It's supposed to be okay, but it was nowhere near as good. Speaking of nowhere near as good as Street Fighter 2, we have the original Mortal Kombat, which, you know, the first one with blood. I have to admit, first time I played this, I was blown away. I did really love this game. I had played Street Fighter 2, but I'd only played that on the SNES, so this came out on the Mega Drive before Street Fighter 2 did, so we were just happy to have a really good one-on-one fighting game, so that was pretty awesome. And speaking of Street Fighter 2, we have Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, which is the best version of Street Fighter 2 on any 16-bit console. It's better than Street Fighter 2 Turbo. It's better than all of those. And Super Street Fighter 2, which I know a lot of other people prefer. I don't know enough about that one, to be honest. It is supposed to be okay. I quite like Cammy. Cammy's quite good, and so is Fair Long. T-Hawk and DJ suck. Although DJ is supposed to be quite good. But anyway, but I still maintain that is way better than Street Fighter 2 Turbo or anything. I even think the sound's better. Maybe not some of the voices, but certainly the music is better. Rystar, which was made in the Sonic engine and is a really cool kind of platformery type thing where he has long grabby arms and can climb and pull himself up. It's a pretty cool game, apparently, by all accounts. It looks really good. It looks very, very good. Strider 1, which is a classic, an arcade conversion, not particularly difficult to get hold of or rare. However, Strider 2 is quite a bit harder to get hold of and a little bit more rarer, and not as good either, apparently. But as I have Strider 1 and Strider 2. Sparkster. Now, I talked about this in my Sega Mega Drive love letter. There was 2 games in this series on the Mega Drive. There was Sparkster and Rocket Knight Adventures. I already had Rocket Knight Adventures. That's the much easier one. That's the first one, and that's the easier one to get hold of. That was everywhere. Sparkster didn't sell anywhere near as well, but I have Sparkster now, and this one's the one I prefer. I prefer this one. I think really good game, that. Speaking of really good games, one of the best titles on the Mega Drive, possibly, certainly within the top 5, Gunstar Heroes, Treasure's classic run and gun answer to Contra, take on Konami. This is obviously people know Gunstar Heroes. If you know the Sega Mega Drive and the Genesis, you know Gunstar Heroes. Well, that complete with manual. They're all complete with manual apart from Tailspin, but yeah, what absolute classic. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Are they Hero Turtles over here? Oh, they're Hero Turtles over here. I don't know if that's different in America, but I have the HYPERSTONE Heist, which again, much harder to get a hold of a game over here. It's effectively Turtles in Time, but slightly different with some different scaling. It doesn't have the sprite scaling, and it doesn't have the bit with Krang or whatever it's called, like coming up and laser eyeing stuff. So it's not as good as the SNES version by all accounts, but it's still pretty good. But it's also quite rare for the Mega Drive. But it's a really good game still, even on the Mega Drive. Castlevania, and I think, it's called New Generation over here. I think it was called Bloodlines in America. But yeah, this one's a little bit odd for a Castlevania game in that you can play as a guy who doesn't have a whip. He has like a trident, I think, and a spear and everything. Again, I've not played this one yet either, but it looks really good. I do quite like the ethos of the Castlevanias, but having never played any of them, I can't really talk about it. I've never played Symphony of the Night on the PlayStation. Never played them because I never had a NES or a SNES or anything like that when growing up. So I've never actually played a single Castlevania game ever. So I think this is going to be the first one I'll actually play, and I am quite looking forward to playing this one, definitely. And finally, for this video, I have one of my pride and joys for my collection, or for my entire collection, and that's Streets of Rage 3. So I have all 3. I already had the other 2, which I showed in the other video. I now have the 3rd and final one for the system. I also recently just bought Streets of Rage 4 as well, which is amazing, just come out, and that's fantastic, every bit as good as the originals. But yeah, I also have Streets of Rage 3, which is, I think this is arguably the most expensive game in my collection. It's quite a difficult one to get hold of here because this came out, and I believe the Saturn was already out in Japan. And it was sort of not quite, particularly this version. Streets of Rage 3 was not very good. Bare Knuckle 3, which was the Japanese version, is supposed to be really good, but Streets of Rage 3 is supposed to suck. And having played Streets of Rage 3 on emulator, I can see I wasn't hugely impressed by it. I still prefer Streets of Rage 2 or 4. Streets of Rage 4 is very, very good. So yeah, but I have it for the collection. So I do have before I only had sort of a couple. I had sort of Flink and Demolition Man, which were the sort of semi-rare ones, but now I have like quite a few. like I say, there's a fair few in among there that are sort of relatively expensive. I don't have the super rare ones like Alien Soldier and stuff, but I've got I've got quite a few of the rarer titles now, which is good. So yeah, so that's my second Mega Drive video. As you can see, the collection's about twice as big as it was. If you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, hit the dislike button. That's it. It's all engagement, and that helps us in the algorithm. So leave me a comment about what you think the best game on the Mega Drive is, or something of that nature. I don't care to tell me you don't like my beard. I don't care. Anything, just leave comments and subscribes and stuff, because that gets me up the algorithm, gets the channel seen. Hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on Facebook, all that kind of good stuff. And yes, thank you very much. Take it easy now. I'll see you again at some point very soon. Bye bye.